1, 2, 3. Good evening. What is going on? Oh my God, is this so much fun or what? Yes, I'm sitting by myself in my basement and my desk is a super hot mess. But what a treat to be here with you right now. Okay, let's get into it. First, we need to make this a little less crazy. Shout out to Siegelman Stable. But that needs to go down here. We got some cards. Maybe at some point, there's actually the old gum in this. Maybe at some point we will eat that. But the purpose of today's video is to talk about what the hell is going on and how the hell I got to this place. It's been a crazy ride, as they say, but I have not explained any of this at all whatsoever in any decent way. I tried to do a live on the day that I left. Like, I literally had my last meeting was a live on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't know how well that went over. I couldn't see. I had to like flip the camera around. Long story short, let me organize myself here, and we'll get into this. By the way, if you haven't already seen it, maybe it's because it hasn't come out yet, but Timm and Tear the Paper Ceiling collab coming out soon. Why bachelor's degrees are overrated, and we need to tear the paper ceiling for y'all. All right, anyway, let's get into it. This can go away, this can go away. This is where Sloan, my trusty editor, by the way, shout out to Sloan and the Florida Panthers. Congratulations on winning the Stanley Cup. Fuck you for knocking out the Rangers, but I say that with all due love and respect. My first two videos are going to be this one, and then the next one is going to be something called the text, or basically why you have various levels of energy and how you can actually like make them quantifiable, meaning like you can actually measure what a good attitude looks like. But we'll get to that next. I have been so excited to just make stuff. So part of this is me just being excited overall. Let's clean this up a little bit more. This can go away. I just heard my dryer go off. VidCon, that was amazing to be at. Anyway, all right. So, this is the 2024 State of the Union, also known as it is July 2nd, 2024. So let's have why do I have a flashlight on my thing? I think it's because I had some mold issues over here, and there's a wall that now got moved. It's on caster wheels. God, we have so much to discuss. It is absolutely bananas. All right. Where are we right now? What is the scoop? Hi, my name is Timm. I am a 46.7, maybe, or 8-ish old person. My day job was a marketing executive at a Fortune 100 company where I saw all of the shit in corporate America over about an 11-year period. And now my purpose is to help pay that forward to you. The purpose of today's presentation in this video is to explain how I was looking at the year, how I was trying to decide what is best to do next, where I am, and basically what this bridge to the next phase of my life is going to look like. I am figuring this out as I go. I can't say that often enough. I'm figuring this out as I go, and it is a treat to have you along for the ride because I've always operated under candid first. It's just the way that I've always been able to run large departments, and especially when I've been in uncomfortable situations, just wearing my heart on my sleeve and being very candid about a situation is really the only way I know how to do things. So here we are. Day job was that. Learned everything under the corporate sun, ready to pay it forward to you. I had my side hustles going between being a creator, Sign with Night from an agency perspective, and I've been an author in progress as I've got a book that is due September 1st. I gotta get my ass going on. But mostly, as it states here, no idea what the fuck is going on. So out of the gate this year, if my attention or time was a pie chart, it would look largely like this, which is family always first, day job was a very close second, and I was paying some attention to a whole bunch of different things, like a little bit of writing and pocket, but it wasn't working. And I also felt like things were stagnant in a few places, and I kind of knew that this might be a possibility, but at the same time too, I worked on firing myself for so long that sometimes I kind of forgot what the hell was going on. I also did this because I wanted to take a look at like what the first quarter looked like. That's actually when I started this. Y'all know Davis Clark. He's the guy that runs around and is like, it's a bad day to be a Excel spreadsheet that he's going to smash or whatever he says. He did a Q1 recap, and I thought it was a really interesting way to look at things. So I started doing one in a similar capacity, and I've actually updated this since to be like first half of the year. And it was just interesting to take a look at. I would actually recommend that you take a look at your annual yearly performance, so to speak, in 3 buckets. First, family. Are you actually pacing along in regards to date nights, in regards to family things, in regards to seeing your parents? Whatever is quantifiable for you, it might be worth actually putting it down. It sounds super weird, but and I don't recommend something quite like this for everybody, but it could be a helpful exercise. And overall in overall in Q1 as well, my team was doing fantastic from a work perspective. My annual performance review went quite well, and really across the board things were moving swimmingly along. Content, I also tried to look at this as like all aspects of my life. How are things going on the content side as well? Made a shitload of short form stuff, made almost no long form stuff. We're back, and yeah, first major book deadline hit, but since then it's gotten a little off the rails, but that was the whole responsibility, firing myself, and how do I keep it moving along. Been running like a madman. This was also very interesting to look at, where it was like almost flipped around. Where last year I was just running like crazy, and this year I've just been, no, other way around. Last year I was doing the weights like crazy, this year I've been running like crazy. I think also just from a mental headspace perspective, I really needed to just get out there and have something consistent to go to that I knew I was going to sweat my ass off. And I don't know, I think it just helped me mentally get through the last little bit of phase of my life. And now I love it. I also run on cannabis, but we'll talk about that another time. But that's a serious topic. Not that it's like serious, but I think it's worth a deeper conversation because of the horrible stigma, not horrible, but because of the stigma that's against cannabis. I think I would like to continue to, for people that might feel super strange doing it or that don't like running and are interested in that, I would like to be a helpful resource. Overall, speaking of what we were just talking about, my headspace has been a bit of a mess. It's just been so hard to do all of this. Like, it's literally been like 3 jobs at the same time. And I just kind of love this overall. The artist, Nate Turbo, is the one that came up with the idea of doing a pie chart and saying basically that you're a sliver of a functional human being, but mostly a total maniac. So this is what the approach was going into the second quarter. I thought, cool, if I can just find a bit more time for writing, how do I carve that out of the hours that go against a day job? My day job is about 60 hours a week at a minimum. Huge responsibilities, 240 person department, $30 million P&L. I had a lot going on. If I figured if I could carve some space out of there, I could up the writing time and not let anything else go, but then I resigned. And it wasn't like I say this kind of joking around that it was willy-nilly. It had been in the plans for close to about a year. But now, like, as so many people have said to me from the, Step Brothers movie, so much more room for, what was the line? So much more room for activities. I think that's it. So much more room for activities. Writing can now eat up a large part of those 60 hours. More long form stuff. I'm going to be super busy. People keep asking me, am I still going to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning? You're goddamn right I am, because I'm not going to take any of this for granted. Like, cool, now I can slow down. I can't slow down. The timeline for firing myself responsibly is about a year long, because I needed to be thinking, if this was ever going to happen, what was going to be the most difficult thing? The most difficult thing for me was to pull myself away from the team that I originally built here. And I felt like if I just walked away from this 240 person department that I largely built, then it would be very difficult on the people that I would leave behind. It would be very difficult for my boss to refill that exact role. The economy hasn't been great. The company was in a hiring pause. I had to plan this for literally a year for my own mental headspace, because so much of my headspace was impacted by, how is my team going to take this? Is it a strategic way to actually leave? Or am I just being like, cool, I'm out? I could not just be like, cool, I'm out. I had to do something that was methodical and took a long period of time, which started back in July. So this is what my department looked like back then. Had a field production team. Let me back up for a second. If you have ever seen, that's my boiler. If you have ever seen a small business have a commercial on TV or in something streaming, 9 out of 10 chance that my team made that commercial. My team has produced somewhere in the ballpark of 20,000 pieces of creative for mostly small businesses every year for the past 10 plus years. Overseeing that team and how we would help sell the local cable advertising, that is why you see those businesses on TV, but they can't be on TV without a commercial. So we had the media space to sell. Then I came along to help network together a group that they had. I had to fire everybody to start. It was a hot mess, but that's a longer story as well. Anyway, my team was head of field production, mostly doing the commercials, head of internal brand work, production creative services. If you're in marketing, you know. Operations team, because that's just it's a shitload of people and a lot of gear and a lot of infrastructure that needs to be maintained. And then a campaign strategy team, so that we were always smart about what we were putting on the table. So wave one was to take that huge chunk, the field team, and put them in a place where I thought that they were going to be better off because it was new and it would provide more growth opportunity. And I felt like things were running so well, they literally did not need me. So I fired myself from that part of the job and took 180 people of the 240 that I had, and I moved them over to a team that we call field marketing. So what was 240 now became 60, and my now opportunity at work was to just focus on content just for our company. To do that, I set up the following. The guy who was always in charge, John, I fucking love you, man. You were the best creative director I could have ever fathomed working with. Left him in charge of brand, operations team with Mr. Fox, who I've worked with the longest over anybody ever. Left him in place. Content strategy, I was able to bring back the smartest person who eventually basically took over the pieces of my role when I left. Michelle was amazing to bring back. This fucking mad scientist named Eric, who oversaw what I call the world domination team. And then Lindsay, who is just so smart when it comes to marketing and both the process and the design work. God, she was brilliant. And so she was my air traffic control. So next was wiping myself fully off the map. What time is it, by the way? Oh, I should go get dinner. I'll be back. And I need to be okay with this too. Like, I can stop a video halfway through and then come back to it, right, Sloan? This is called Sushi Break. One, two, three, and we're back. Oh man, that was good. Son of a bitch. Gotta watch it down there. Gotta watch your head, gotta watch your shoulders. Anyway, where were we? I was firing myself. And then I went for sushi. God, that was so good. Key Sushi on Smith Street in Brooklyn, New York. If you're ever in the area, please go. Please tell them that I sent you. It is outstanding. Anyway, where were we? All right, so I take the field production team, hand them over to field marketing, set up my new team to help the company refocus itself on content versus just broader messaging, and then it was time to really fire myself. So, as I mentioned her before, took my head of content strategy, put her into my role with a slightly refined focus. I actually wrote it here. Don't backfill, use this for more design and project management help. You know what? These are the parts this is like the really underneath the hood stuff. So that took me from July of 23, initial discussions with my boss, who you might have seen the video, greatest boss I ever had. I don't think I'm sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for crossing paths with him, which ironically was because I did not get his job. And so he came in. So sometimes not getting the job actually pays off in the long run. From that all the way through to June, where on the 3rd, my team was officially shifted away from me. That was crazy. It's crazy to sit here and be like, I'm not going back into the office tomorrow. That was wild. 10, 11 years to look in Microsoft Outlook, where you can like go and see how people map into each other. And all of a sudden one day it was like, everybody's gone. And I was just sitting there as a solo artist. And then the 21st was my pseudo official last day. The time savings here is obviously substantial. What to do with the 60 hours plus a week that I'm getting back now is the larger question, which I will be figuring out. What do I have to build towards? This job did well. I always feel weird talking about this stuff, but I feel like there needs to be more transparency relative to salaries. And I also would like to help frame up what a large salary in the corporate space means. At least I made more money there than I ever thought I was going to make in my career, but it's also not even league minimum for most professional sports leagues. Like, you could be a left-handed pitcher that throws maybe 3 innings a week as a middle reliever and make an exorbitant more money than I did. Did quite well. But at the same time too, it's not like I was pulling high 7 figures on a consistent basis. It was like basically below league minimum. But that's a hill to climb. That's a lot of money to now go figure out how to replicate in a smart and sound way. Obviously now with a completely different structure relative to not having taxes taken out of my paycheck on a bi-weekly basis. Health insurance. I got free cable and internet. That goes away, obviously. So I got a bit of hope to climb. And I left a lot of dollars on the table too. There's something called LTI, means long-term incentive, or some companies call it LTIP, long-term incentive program, which basically you get a chunk of stock every year, but it's no good, or you don't actually get it for another 3 years. Right, that keeps this like rolling streak along. It's basically what golden handcuffs are. That's how it works. I probably left at the end of the day. I mean, funny, the stock went up towards the remaining few days that I had. I left probably somewhere around $400,000 on the table, which actually doesn't pain me to say out loud because I believe in my value. Hard stop there. I believe in the value based off of what is in the marketplace and for some of the business problems that I can help companies with. Not to mention some of the other brand stuff deals that I've been doing. I'm comfortable with my value relative to how I can be helpful in a broader capacity. So why am I doing this? That's the question that I've been getting probably most often, like the why. But it's not necessarily about any one thing. It's seeing what I'm fully capable of. I never would have imagined any of this turning out the way that it has so far. With 60 more hours a week back from me, and this was a pivotal moment for me in regards to the overall decision, or at least becoming more comfortable. I was sitting behind my desk on a blah, blah, blah afternoon, and all of a sudden here comes emails like, hey, we need these slides put together for the president for a really big presentation. Cool, got it. I know that drill. I've done it several times. I remember thinking, wow, that's going to take about 20 hours of work over the next 3 weeks-ish. Not huge, but I also remember thinking, am I genuinely better served taking those 20 hours and doing this presentation for the president of our company versus trying to come up with the right strategy for YouTube to help with being in corporate America 101, how to be a new dad, how to be a new dad in corporate America, all of this stuff that I can help out with based off of my experience. What is a better overall contribution? Our company did something called programmatic advertising. If you're in the space, you know it. It was a nice up and coming part of the revenue stream for us, but I'm not super passionate about programmatic advertising. I was super passionate about the businesses that we were serving. I was super passionate about the people that we had on the team, but there were elements of it as well where it's like, that's great, but I would rather help more people at scale. Hopefully that makes sense. And I want to see what am I actually capable of doing? I don't think that I would ever gotten a shot had I just stuck around. Because I do feel like this is now my purpose. And that purpose is pretty straightforward. To get to a purpose, there's this exercise that I firmly believe in, which is you take what you do and you try to write it as one single, simple sentence that is as kind to yourself as humanly possible. So you might have already seen my answer here. As I evolved through my career, I think I have those other slides. Right, so entry-level job-ish was ABC Sports. First, that simple sentence for me was handle logistics for the crew so well with systems so smart that it made everyone's job easier and more enjoyable. High level, simple, super kind. Then it evolved as I got promotions, and it was tell stories through video, graphics, and music that inspires coworkers and enhances viewers' experience. Then I moved to ESPN. There, my purpose was develop and execute big ideas that serve both brands and sports fans. Pretty simple. Then, when I got hired by Time Warner Cable, which was what it was before I got acquired by Charter Communications, initial purpose was build and support the greatest creative agency for small businesses on the planet. And that's another note. I need to do a YouTube about best job in advertising ever. After the merger, my purpose was merge the best practices from 3 production creative services teams into one. Going through 2020, my purpose was support and encourage and create stability for a large marketing team during a time of chaos so they can continue to be champions for small businesses. All kinds of crazy shit happened right before COVID, and yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. And hopefully too, like as I walk through this, you can see how your purpose can evolve over time. Since 21, it was to be a visionary and friendly executive who can solve complex business problems while creating work environments where everyone can do their best work by being the best version of themselves. And then it was just simply help people do their best work by being the best versions of themselves. I don't need to be, it's probably better that I'm not at a company to try to do this. On my way out the door, my creative director, John, who will 1,000% stand up and be like, fuck yeah, I said that. He said, the reason why I can get over the disappointment in losing you is understanding what you can do for more people. No pressure, brother. It was amazing to hear, but that's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, too, I know he's right. So let's fucking go. Anyway, so now that we're clear on the purpose, what am I actually going to do? The question isn't what can I do, it's what can I do with 60 hours a week back. Basically, like, here's the analogy that I haven't come up yet. So if this was the land of corporate security relative to the job, that's a bridge. That's one of the shittiest bridges you've ever seen drawn, but that's a bridge. So now that I got 60 hours back, let's talk about how I got there and then why this is still the question mark. I didn't set out making TikToks to be like, cool, I can make money off of this or I can do brand deals. Never would have thought that in a million years. But my background in marketing with ESPN puts me in a really solid place. Plus, I just have weird ideas. But like I feel like I was actually built to be able to do that well. My job at ESPN was brands like some of the biggest brands on the planet. IBM, for example, would come in and be like, cool, I want to spend $25 million on PGA Tour golf and NFL. What do you got? And we would have to come up with ideas. It was literally my job to come up with these integrated marketing ideas. So when you're the cast, the crew, the videographer, the editor, etc., you give me just about any brand on the planet and I can come up with something. So this bridge was the brand deals, my book deal that is due September 1st. What else the hell is in there? I mean, I guess those are the two big ones. Oh, some speaking gigs. So that built the bridge, right? That actually made it possible for me to talk to my wife and say, I think we can do this. She's been like, you 1,000% can do it the whole time, but I was pretty cautious for a while. But that's what built the bridge. Now the question is, the fuck am I going to? Pardon the language. What am I going to? Like, what is the land on the other side? Because there's a lot that I could do here for a very sustainable period of time, but at the same time, I'm not going to try to pretend like, cool, when I'm 52 years old, I totally see it being a world in which I'm still making revenue off of TikTok ads. Like, you don't know how much can change. So, what can I do with this 60 hours a week? I can teach you how to get addicted to appreciation. That's what I'm doing in the book. I can do more corporate America tutorials, YouTube podcast, short form, etc. I've got executive coaching that I took off the side of my desk a couple of years ago. I can lean into that training and how that can be more helpful. I also have something called Energy Leadership Index. I'm a certified practitioner, which opens up a whole nother can of worms in regards to I'm a fucking corporate ninja, y'all. Again, pardon the language. I don't know how much I should curse or should not curse. I'll try my best to keep it a reasonable balance, but like, I have no bachelor's degree, but I've been skilled by the finest in the corporate space to be a corporate ninja. But overall, I just want to deliver more value at scale. As noted, No degree, but this is the resume that I bring to the table. 20 years of overall corporate experience. I would say I got my bachelor's degree in live sports production. God, did I learn a lot about time management and the importance of hitting deadlines when you work in a live TV environment. I got my master's in marketing from ESPN, what I just noted. I got my doctorate in being an executive through Charter Communications, which started with Time Warner Cable. That's 11 years of executive experience, a department that I built from the ground up. They brought me in the Thursday before my first day and told me I had to fire everybody. Managed up to 270 people during that time. You could say 400 plus during the first wave of COVID. Again, long story. $30 million P&L that was managed within 1% of forecasts on a consistent basis. That is hard. That is really hard, especially based on what our model was. I've been through reorgs, mergers. I've had all the change management experience needed to have an excellent skill set when it comes to that. Been trained by two executive coaches that were huge gifts the company gave me over the years. Trained at Harvard Business School's executive education program, certified energy. So and I can make a decent TikTok reel too. So I am primed. I am supposed to be here right now. I am supposed to be having this awkward conversation with just my phone in the basement. My God, do I hope that the audio is working right now. So if this was the land of corporate security and I built the bridge through brand deals, book deal, and speaking gigs, but I don't exactly know what it's going to look like on the other side, which I don't think I should yet, because then I would have been focused too much time on this and not enough on responsibly firing myself. This is the land. This is my land. Here's the exercise that I did. I made a list of the things that I can offer to the marketplace. What are the different things that I can do? That's executive. You could bring me into a company and have me analyze your C-level folks for emotional intelligence based off of being a certified practitioner for Energy Leadership Index, a certified executive coach. I could do that stuff. I could even help with recruiting. So I made the list and then I organized it from the smallest and most expensive one here all the way down to what should be the pro bono stuff that I should just be doing for free. This video, if it's helpful in any capacity. I think my wife's here. I guess not. So this helped me figure out what that land is and how it should be built. It will be something in this. Now the process is going to be, what does good look like relative to the extra 60 hours a week, and how do I fit these things into that and do it in a sustainable way, right? I've got I have a really strong inclination to say yes to everything. That's not sustainable, and it would also potentially pull me into something that's cool, content on how to thrive as a parent and a partner, but as much as I could just do that, I shouldn't just do that. And if I take nothing but one-on-one calls for free and fill my schedule up that way, that would be a miss, and then I would have a heap of trouble on my hands for a multitude of reasons. So the goals within where I'm going next: teach you how to get addicted to appreciation, teach you everything that I can relative to what's happened in my career in the corporate space and how I can pay that forward, pick up my kid a lot from school. I'm so stoked about this. Today is July 2nd. Yesterday was July 1st, obviously. I spent almost the whole day biking around New York City with her. It was absolutely glorious. I had massive anxiety, not the entire time, but I had a lot of anxiety riding around. But it also felt really good because I'm this is what I'm going to be able to do more of if I do those other things right. What the hell else did I have in this deck? So the plan. July, focus on writing and doctor stuff. Plain and simple, there's more travel in July than I would really like, but it is what it is. August, ramp up the speaking, the consulting, and the coaching. I have a feeling that this is actually going to move to September. Enjoy family time, and writing is probably going to be the focus for August. And then hopefully when I turn 47 in September, I've got a little less anxiety, I feel good. But ultimately, I just want to make you guys proud. This could be pointed at my wife. This could be pointed at somebody who liked a video 2 years ago and that helped contribute, or they shared it with a friend who shared it with another friend who shared it with another friend. Anybody that has contributed to this in any way, shape, or form, I would like to make you proud, because you made this happen. My name is Tim. I have no idea how long this has been. I hope it's been useful and mildly entertaining as well. We got a lot more of this to do. Good night, everybody. I'm saying that like there's some sort of send-off music. Sloan knows what to do. Son of a bitch.